Greetings and welcome to Faction Masters Season 4, bringing you our first semifinal game. It's Game 19 between Gamebear's Fungal Dwarves and Vexer's Forged. And I'm joined by both Gamebear and Vexer. Great to have you both with us.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thanks.
So, I'm going to start with you, Vexer, since we can see your opening hand here. What were your thoughts going into the match?
Ooh, my thoughts were like, this is going to be an uphill battle. This is one of the worst matchups for the Forge. The Fungal Dwarves, they have so many ways with Infect and release the spores to just fill those gaps and not allow you to keep advancing and getting those Forge and Flame damage. So in here, I liked having the modular upgrade. That's great to have, especially when you want to be able to use it as a shield for all those beasts. And it was also great that I got the chance to go first. Otherwise, well, this matchup is even harder. But I didn't really want to expose myself like the inventor. With those mages, they can hit you really hard, right? Like if you get hit by for 3, 4, you're in trouble there. So I wanted to take it a little bit easy there, but I didn't want to do the usual play in which you move the Ember Cog to block the advance of the inventor, because then that cog was just going to get eaten up by infect, and then I wouldn't really be able to advance much. So that was those were my thoughts. I was really sad to see Helma in my opening hand, the champion, because I think that's vital. Well, it's a really good champion for this matchup. Being able to get rid of the units that are about to be within the range of infect, and give you a chance on the economic battle, right? Like when the Fungal Dwarves get the engine going, it's really hard to be able to win in any economic battle. So I was sad to see him in the opening hand, but yeah, those were my thoughts going in.
Okay, Gamebear, anything you'd like to add?
No, only that I think it's interesting that Vexer Vexer said the Fungal Dwarves are a terrible matchup for the Forge. As the way I play the Fungal Dwarves, I really just like playing the Forge. So I think we're both coming into this with a bit of trepidation.
Okay, well let's start the replay. If one of you guys wants to monologue for a while, I can pause it, but we'll get things going here. And we see that modular upgrade come out right away, as I said, on the starting gate.
And in here at the end of this play, I was feel like it was a good way of not giving him great targets to start the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very defensive play, and I see you are keeping Helma. See how long that can last.
Yeah, at that point, I was hoping like, hey, there's a lot of magic with the carriers. I'll give it a shot. I discarded the Mac cog, which are not like that amazing in this one. That was my only discard there.
Yep, you got your other modular upgrade too for next turn.
It's a pretty good opening hand, but like Vexer just really didn't give me anything to work with, so I just moved forward. That's my pretty standard approach with Fungal Dwarves, is just try to get advanced on the board.
Keeping everybody in the diamond.
Yeah, so then the Blast Forge, it's exactly what you want in these situations to bring down those beasts. So I line up in here like, well, use most of my magic, try to bring down that beast, get that splash damage on Kolvek, even though I was going to take a bit on the cog. And then in here, I decided to go after the carrier instead of getting the extra attack directly on Koldak, just to not allow him to get that boost from behind and just get the beast back. But the Ember Cog failed that one.
No, that
At this
happens.
point, I realized the Helmo was not going to happen, so I just discarded.
Yeah.
And it was nice setup by Vexer, so I had to choose whether to go to the right or the left side here, and I decided to move away from the inventor to try to limit the opportunities for the free damage.
Yeah, his left, your right. And getting that gate there to protect Koldak as you work away on his flank here. The shaman in the back to distribute boosts as needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this shift in the board was a good move. At this point, I was really like, oh boy, what do I do now? Like, I cannot really keep advancing and be in a good spot. And my hand was pretty poor at this point, like I only had a single unit. So I just chipped in at the gate, try to get sneak in one attack on Koldak, and then try to see if I could either kill or if I left him in one life, that carrier, he would need to move it or the sentry would finish him off. And I was able to keep using the big gate, which is always useful to try to protect that Ember Cog so that he doesn't get like a beast attack on the Ember Cog.
See
Already
here,
here I
using
had
the yeah, go ahead.
they already had monstrosity in hand, and so I had a bunch of different options. But one of the problems with facing the forged is if I move too far forward, he can just build his units next to me, right? Like I'm already getting into his back three lines there, which exposes me to some of those, you know, free build placements. So
Yeah, Koldak's already down to 9. Let's make it a bit riskier.
Yeah, so here, well, I only had one unit, but saw the opportunity there to try to go after the. Keep putting pressure on Koldak. I had to use that modular upgrade. Like I was struggling with not having enough units, so I saw this playing here. You try to use that barricade to clear up the board and protect the inventor. Like in here, you don't want to get them a chance with a beast to hit the inventor. Like you always have to consider that they can double any attack with the mend. So I thought, like, you know what? I really need to try to put pressure on Koldak. This is the opportunity. So the double shift there with modular, giving me 3 dice there. And then I thought about either going for the gate or just going all in with a, well, not all in, but just keep putting pressure, which paid off. Got the 2 out of 2 there. Even though that Macaw was going to turn into a carrier. Didn't really want to remove that gate from the top position because that would have exposed the 2 flanks on that Ember Cog. I felt like, you know what? It might actually be useful to have it around just for protection. It's harder to infect those big machines there if they only have like one side to attack. So yeah, I went for Koldak and it paid off. Like I got all the rolls there, so now I had a chance to try to finish Koldak off.
And we can
yeah,
see
that
that
was a huge turn.
yeah, just pointing out there's a
Go ahead.
pretty good magic advantage built up for Gamebear here because of spending all the attacks on Koldak, but down to 4 life. Got to find some way to protect him.
Right. Moving forward like that, I anticipate getting hit some, but I would have been much more comfortable if I was sitting at 6 or 7 life. 4 now, I'm in danger of dying on any turn that I expose myself. So it was really a huge turn right there.
Yeah, and we see we've got Sprocket is in hand. You didn't know it then, but could come into play as we saw in one of Vexer's earlier matches. People can forget about it, Sprocket. Yeah. But let's resume the game here. See what happens. Getting close to the 5 boosts needed to transform.
At this point, I'm already keeping my eye out for the monstrosity. Yeah, so I was keeping an eye out on that beast, making sure that it didn't get the 5 with my attacks. And then, well, I had the concern, like, if it gets transformed, it's really hard for the Well, you spend a lot of resources, and I was way back on the econ, so really wanted to make sure to try to like do whatever I can to stop it. So one thing here, so I have a lot of heavy hitters in that hand. Not the most balanced hand, but having the Blast Forge is exactly what I want there. Um, in here I see this as, hey, I can win the game in this play. Like if I manage to deal with that beast and with that shaman, so that pretty much it would get the beast stuck for a while in his hand, and I could really just take the game at this point. So I was hoping for that. I was prioritizing trying to get those two. Especially the beast with 5, so that's why I went with this play with the other Blast Forge in that side to make sure that I wasn't just like betting everything on a 3 for 3. So I really needed that splash damage there. It was also nice to have the extra damage up there, but now it was just a 2 out of 3. And I really just needed a 1 out of 2 on the sentry cog, and that way it was going to be hard for him to get that beast. But then that sentry betrayed my cause.
Well, you got the fungal beast though, and you got Koldak down to
Yeah, exactly.
three.
At least that
That's
one.
big.
Yes, exactly. So, but at this point, it was like, oh boy, then like he has the boosts. I won't be able to stop it at this point. I just hit the blast forge just to use that big gate, and I mean, I wasn't in a bad position, but I was way back on the econ, and a monstrosity can just like turn the whole game around pretty quick.
Yeah, it always feels bad if you're playing a growth faction to lose so many boosts on a unit like that. You want to transfer it or save it somehow. But the shaman still has
Mhm.
5 that can go somewhere. Gamebear, your thoughts at this
Yeah,
point?
I mean that was a critical miss. The sentry cog on the shaman to keep my hopes alive. But obviously, if called like a 3, I have to start backing up, which I really dislike doing. But again, just no choice at this point. So exactly what you're saying, like get those boosts onto a beast and protect callback. Those are the two main priorities here.
Well, he seems fairly safe now, but
Mhm.
showing us the meaning of sacrifice there, your own shaman, to try to keep that engine going. Getting the best of hits here on this turn. It's not enough
Yeah.
for
So in here,
Sprocket, but go ahead.
yeah, I checked like, is there any way to get to that beast? And there was really nothing. I just had 2 magic, so I didn't had a lot of options. So thought, what's the best that I can do? If I because he had to pay 3 magic for that brand new beast, actually paying it like out of pocket, and then pay the 3 for the monstrosity. And I felt like, you know what? I don't think he's gonna want to risk the monstrosity. So uh, Koldak cannot really come down and fight it out right now, right? He's gonna try to like have to keep hiding. And if I manage to kill the other 2 units, at least if the monstrosity when it comes out, it's gonna be a single unit attacking, like a single attack. So I really wanted to try to like that's the way I position things here to at least try to kill both of those, the 3 health and the warrior.
Oh,
And Amber made things harder. So in there, I thought like, you know what? I guess I'll have to do this. I didn't want to have to blow up that gate because it was actually going to give me a little bit of coverage. So um, I had to go for that, the splash damage to try to get the kill. Then just had to expand my barricade just to finish the beast. Otherwise, those carriers, like they just keep coming out. That Blast Forge cog was there for the taking. Then the Ember cog, so I just had to do like anything that was possible
Let me
there. So
pause
yeah.
there. So at that point, if you go back to anyway,
I
I had the
think I
choice
take it back. I
of
take
again.
that.
I only had this. So my choice was to either again with only the 3 magic, as Vexer mentioned, I had to choose between putting down Monstrosity, which leaving me just Monstrosity and Call Deck on the board, or putting down a couple commons to try to protect myself. So I looked at this setup and decided that if I could survive the barricades, the sentry cog and my gate are providing a bit of a. The commander's a little bit trapped in there, so and I'll retreat to the right side from Vexer's perspective and chip away at all the stuff over there. All works through, and the only danger here was if Vexer had 2 mag cogs in hand, I knew he'd be able to hit. But he'd still also need to get 3 out of the 4, so I took a chance on it. Again, I didn't know what was in his hand, but
But you knew
hoping
he
to
hadn't
survive this
summoned a
one
lot.
turn.
You knew
And
he hadn't
use,
summoned very many in the game so far. So it's definitely possible.
Okay, so there's a decent chance he
Yeah.
had them. But at this point, I was in pretty bad shape. So it was, let's say a 40 to 50% chance that I can survive this turn based on hand, and that's I had to risk it because if I could get away with it, moving forward.
Yeah, I think I would have done the same thing.
That, right. And so Monstrosity takes out the Blast Forge, and then on the next turn, I would be able to move Koldak over to the right as well, and put down a common to take out some of the other stuff on that side. But
So in
as you can see
here,
from Vexer's perspective, he does have. Go ahead, Vexer. I'll let you.
yeah. So I saw like, well, there's a play with the Macaques. Like those guys always find a way of at least getting a shot, even though they don't really hit hard. But that was my best bet for sure, because once he escapes, it was going to be hard to get back with a monstrosity around there. Like I was going to spend a ton of resources, so I just went for it. I needed a 3 out of 4. Get it, the first guy, and then the second one. Let's see if he betrays me as the other
There it
machines.
is.
No, this guy.
Wow, what a
He
finish.
did it. Got it.
Got it done.
Wow. Well, that was like maybe your last. I don't want to say your last chance. There's still a fair bit more game to play out here, but it's got to be difficult for your mobility to try to keep all these slow moving or sometimes not moving units, keep them up to chase Koldak around the board.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not sure if I was gonna be able to get like that final damage if he managed to escape there, because I always had the sprocket trying to find an opening, but I didn't have the magic yet. I couldn't really discard. Like I was gonna finish the turn with 3 magic, discarding the Titan, and still had a couple Mac cogs and things like that. So it was going to be tough at that point, especially because of the monstrosity. Like that was going to be the thing that if the monstrosity missed that kill, like at least I was going to be able to hit the monstrosity really hard. But without that, I think if I didn't get the game, the hits there, it was probably going to be hard to get back. There was too much of a massive difference on the econ. But in part, I think you were Gamer. You were discarding very conservatively during the game. Right? Like you were playing just as
Yes.
few units as you could and not discarding too much. And that's kind of what allowed me to burn a little bit more through my deck and try to do that play that you only had the exact amount of magic for the monstro and not being able to play any other units. Or so I try to take advantage of that momentum there, in which you were not going to be able to do like both of them. and it's always a tough decision, right? Like when you have the opportunity for the monstrosity, but then if you don't do it, then it's like if they kill the like the beast, then you're stuck again with it, and so I knew it was gonna be tough. I was hoping you would play the monstrosity to kind of like get a shot like this.
Great. Well,
Yeah,
very
it
well
was
played, both
it
of you.
was
Yeah,
tough,
go
but
ahead.
yeah, good game.
Yeah, any
No,
final
no,
thoughts, Game
that's
Bear?
all I've got.
Okay, okay. Well, Vexer, you're gonna move on to the finals. It's either gonna be
No, yeah, good game.
bug here. I'll fix that later. Do you think you'd rather face Tundra Orcs or High Elves in the finals?
You know what? I think both are like decent matches. Probably the Tundra Orcs are they have of breaking formations and moving stuff around. That's probably a nightmare for all those machines, right? Like they have a hard time just moving afterwards. Don't think I have played like that many matchups of those. I played the Tundra Orcs one, so I would probably be rooting for the Tundra Orcs in that other
Okay.
semi-final game.
Well, thank you, Vexer and Game Bear, for joining us. Congratulations to both of you for making it this far, and congratulations to Vexer for making it to the finals. We'll look forward to seeing all of you, and all of our viewers for the finals for Faction Masters Season 4.